Clear efficiency, helping you get clear on the efficiency of your home. Okay, McKenna and Danny, I am up in the attic space right now, just taking a quick look around, seeing what it is that you guys have and seeing how it is that we might best be able to help you out here. So first and foremost, what we're looking at is the types of insulation that you have here on your attic floor. Right now you have two types of insulation. On the very, very bottom, the original to the home here, you have what is called cellulose. For all intents and purposes, it's like a ground up newspaper. And it's not often used anymore. It's not so popular anymore because we're a lot more health conscious right now. This particular insulation is very, very dusty in nature, very, very fine. And it's known to get back down into the home through cracks and set off allergies like no one's business. So actually, as a result, it's not allowed in schools and hospitals anymore, just due to the fact that it's known to set off allergies. Okay. On top of that, you have the rolled out version of insulation, the Pink Panther, if you will, batting type. And that is giving, and it's not covering every area, but it is covering this section over here, just on top of that cellulose. Okay, batting is not bad, but it's only as good as its weak point, and the weak point with batting is that it's a perfect rectangle. Building construction is not perfect, so inevitably there's going to be gaps left behind when it's stacked up like this, and energy doesn't care, right? Least resistance. If there is a gap, that's where your airflow is going to move more freely. Okay, obviously we see that there is a great deal of fecal matter here, so we have a lot of rodent activity. It's not a little bit. They were up here for quite some time, and there are piles and piles up here. So some of this stuff is just sitting on top of the batting. Some of it is completely mixed into the insulation. Some of it is actually down in the cracks and crevices of some of your penetration. So it's allowing for some of those things to even get back into the home. Not ideal. But that's pretty much it. That brings me to my second level, which is your current levels. Okay. Right now, your cellulose is coming in right around a 5-inch or 4 to 5 inch mark. Okay. And then the batting sitting on top of that is coming in pretty much around an R19 for you guys. R19. Okay. So pretty simple on that. Just to put that in perspective, bare minimum code is R38, 13.25. Okay, this is where you need to be in California to have a fighting chance for your HVAC unit to actually keep your home at a desired temperature, hot and cold. Okay, and then the very most insulation that you would put in the home for the maximum effect is 20 inches at R60. Anything above this is what we call diminishing returns, which means you can double up to 40 inches. It won't do anything more than it will right here at this 20. But at the very least, we certainly want to get you guys to code. Okay, and get your HVAC unit not running as much. So really, really simple on that. Okay, now I'll be showing you guys a few different options based upon what I'm seeing up here. Option number one is pretty much what you asked me for when I got here. Is Brian, what does it look like to get up to code, to get our HVAC unit to run just a little bit less than where it's at right now? Okay, and like I said, your current average in the attic is an R19. Okay, and so if insulation is done in increments, the smallest increment is 19, the next is 30, 38, so on and so forth. So where you guys are at right now, pretty much with the R19, I would come in and blow another R19 over the top of what you have and get you up to code. Okay, now yes, you have a great deal of fecal matter, but there is no law saying that you guys have to remove this. So if you wanted to keep it, you certainly can. I'm not saying that's the best option. I'm saying that that is an option. Okay. Now, as you guys mentioned, and I mentioned to you, McKenna, is that there is a rebate in this area. SMUD is the only utility company that offers a rebate for attic work. It is not always advantageous, but it is only an option in SMUD territory. Roseville and PG&E don't offer any kind of assistance when it comes to this attic work. We do it in this area a lot, in those areas a lot, but there's no assistance for them like there is here in SMUD. Okay, now in SMUD they offer a rebate. It is a $3,000 rebate, but you have to hit all three variables in order for that rebate at all to kick in. Okay, so it may or may not be advantageous to you. Sometimes it might require you to do more or spend more than what you were originally thinking. Okay, now I'm going to quickly break down those 3 variables for you so you have a good understanding of what it is. Okay, the first is insulation. I'll talk about that in just a second. The second is air seal. I'll talk about that in just a second. Is the quality of the ducts. You're certainly going to want to see that and see what your ducts are looking like. Okay, so starting with insulation. First is insulation. Okay, if we're going for the rebate, there's 2 caveats that we have to comply with if we're going for that $3,000 rebate. Okay, one, they want to make sure that you are at code. Okay, so super simple. Okay, they will not allow that rebate to go through for 2 reasons. One, if you already have 2 types of insulation existing, okay, you can only make up the rebate with 2 types. So if you start out with 2 and I make up the difference, that's now 3. Now you're void. Okay, the second thing that's going to void you is fecal matter. Okay, so any rodent activity, any urine, anything of that nature, seeds, nuts, anything like that, is going to void the rebate. And the only way for you to acquire it at this point is to remove everything, clean the space, we disinfect the space, and then we start over. Okay, and for you guys, that's exactly what would need to be done if we're going to qualify for the rebate. We need to do what is called an attic refresh, and that is basically going to start you over, bring you current, and clean it up. Okay, and so like I said, bring it all out, disinfect the entire space. Okay, the second variable out of the 3, the second variable that they require is air seal. Okay, and I'll take you to a couple areas just so you can visually see it, but just so I can explain it to you real quick. If this is your home, we're talking wintertime, hot air rises, it stacks on your ceiling, and it looks for avenues to escape and get up into your attic space, which costs you money and it doesn't benefit you, right? In the summertime, that process reverses. So if it's only 75 degrees outside, or if it's only 95 degrees outside, it's easily 120 to 140 in this attic space, and that process reverses and it sends heat and this dusty type of insulation right back down into your home. I didn't ask if anyone in the home goes into sneezing fits or has any allergies, but if you are going into sneezing fits, this is a direct result, right? That sends it back. What SMUD is asking you guys to do in order to qualify for the rebate is to go to all those areas that you were previously losing heat from, but also you were getting summer heat and causing your HVAC to run, carrying dust with it. They want you to seal them up once the attic is empty. All right, and that is going to do 2 things. It's going to, 1, improve your air quality inside your home, but for 2, a big 2, is your HVAC is now going to run a whole lot less because you're not wasting any temperature up into the attic. Okay, so that was the explanation. I'm going to quickly just show you a couple spots, and then I'm going to jump right over to the ducts here. Okay, so that applies to ductwork where it meets the attic floor. That's right here. That applies to can lights like what we see right here. Okay, and that also applies to any penetration like what we see over here, right? And so this is a good visual. It shows us that they've cut the drywall here. It's not a perfect cut. Now, they didn't do anything wrong. They've put the unit in so it's housed correctly, but inevitably there's a big gap all the way around this, and that allows for this dusty type of insulation to work its way back into the home, and then you guys are left breathing that in, but also your air moves up through it. Same thing here. You've got penetration here, and so again, this is something that we would want to get sealed up. Okay, and so let me take you over to one last spot, and that's where this ductwork meets the attic floor here. And so again, they would want to seal all of this up so this dusty type of insulation and the fecal matter that's around it isn't getting back into the home. Okay, so pretty simple on that. And last but not least is the ductwork. So the 3rd variable in which they ask for is that the ducts need to be energy efficient ducts. Okay, they'll grandfather in the rebate at R6. So if you have R6 duct, you don't have to upgrade them. That's where the rebate will start. If you have anything underneath R6 ducting quality, they want you to replace it with the newest version, which is R8. Okay, I say all that to say this is that your current ducts are definitely not energy efficient. Okay, you've got 2 different kinds, and I'm going to take you to both and then I'll get out of the attic and have a conversation with you guys. So the oldest version of duct that you have here is the original version to the home here, okay? And that's this guy, and all it is just a metal tube, okay? This is not energy efficient by any stretch of the means. There's a reason why we cook with metal, and that's at its temperature, okay? That is the last thing that you want, especially when you're trying to be energy efficient in your home and have your HVAC from running less, right? Right now, as you pay for heat, during the wintertime, your heat can easily dissipate out through the metal, and so it causes you to have to run that heat more, that furnace more. Vice versa, during the summertime, just like right now, you guys are paying for AC through this tube. It's easily over 100 degrees up here, and that heat is easily bleeding into your duct, causing you to have to run your AC more and more to compensate for it, okay? So they would want you to replace this with a newer version. They knew this putting it in, but there just wasn't a better option, which is why it's wrapped in a small layer of insulation. But this doesn't really do much, right? We need 13.25 just to keep your heat in your home. This less than a half-inch thick insulation is not doing a great deal, okay? Over here, this is an updated version of duct, okay? But the duct is certainly in rough condition, I am assuming, due to rodents and probably just age, okay? But you have a flex duct here. It's not an energy efficient flex duct, but it's more energy efficient than the metal tube, okay? But this guy is completely open, okay? I'm actually feeling cold air right here. So you guys are wasting so much cold air. I wish I had something to show it to you, but it's blowing out right now. Look at that wind, okay? I don't want to get too close. I don't want to get inside the air system, but it's blowing away from the duct because you've got air coming out of here, okay? So this is actually leaking very, very, very badly, and not much better right over here. This is the room in which it's going into, and there's no insulation over here, okay? So these are all inefficiencies and why we're losing so much temperature and the HVAC is running so much, okay? So in order for you guys to qualify, as I see it, I see three options right now for you guys. Option number one is pretty much what you asked me for when I got here. What does it look like to blow more insulation, get us up to code? I'll show you guys that, okay? Option number two will be a middle of the road option, and I'll do a seal and blow. Again, there's no removal here. It won't activate the rebate, but we'll seal up all the major gaps on the attic floor and then blow back in R19. And then option number three will be what is considered an attic refresh, otherwise known as RSB. That stands for remove, seal, and blow. And then we'll plus change out the ducts here, and that particular option will activate the $3,000 SMUD rebate. It's taken directly off the top, and then you guys would be left paying the difference, okay? That's pretty much it, guys. That's everything that I'm looking at. That's just a few options to consider, my professional opinion, sooner rather than later. Thank you.